doing art or design, Asian parents they'll be like architecture. And I was
100%.
like,
Yeah.
I have no interest in architecture. I kind of started posting all the outfits I would wear to go nowhere. People were kind of like, what are you doing? And here I am in full-blown dresses. I had pearls and chains, and I'm just going to library working. And that was like the outfit that like made my account pop up.
Growing up, my friends and I all had immigrant parents, and they were all tough. They all were really strict in what they wanted from us. They pushed us really hard, and nothing we did was ever quite good enough for them. On today's episode, Xixi Amethyst talks about the same with her Asian parents doing the same thing for her and pushing her so hard to do a certain direction in her life. And it's a story about how she said, fuck you to the world. I'm going to do my own thing. And from that has created a pretty cool brand following her passions, doing fashion and art. Let's jump into the episode. Welcome to the podcast. Great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming. Why don't you quickly introduce yourself and then we'll kick off.
Hi guys, I'm known as Xixi Amethyst on social media on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And at the moment, I'm posting about my fashion and art stuff. That is my focus for this year. I post like vlogs on YouTube. I'm kind of like everywhere, posting everything. Just going with the flow.
I love it. No, I love it. Wait, you just said something there that's quite interesting. I'm known as Xixi Amethyst. Why? I know I just told you I was going to ask you a different question to start with.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, but like, tell me, like, why? Where did that come from?
Okay, so Xixi is not my government name.
Okay.
I have not revealed my government name.
Okay,
online.
got it. Yeah.
So it's kind of like my artist/designer name that
Love
I come
it.
up for myself. But Xixi, spelled Xixi, was actually a nickname my parents gave me.
Oh, okay.
So instead of calling me my actual name, they'll just be like Xixi, or they would just say C when they're like mad at me. They'll just be like, C, where?
That's funny.
You know, and then Amethyst because it's like a purple gemstone. And I like purple in case you can't tell.
Yeah, couldn't tell.
And funny enough, in intermediate, me and my two other friends, we started a YouTube channel just posting random stuff,
Really?
stupid things we do in intermediate.
Yeah.
And we all had a nickname, so I was nicknamed Amethyst.
Got it.
And then I just kind of put the two together. And now I am Xixi Amethyst. No one has taken that name on any social media platform, so that is just my name now.
I love that. That's funny. Obviously, reading the name, well, maybe not Xixi. I could probably argue that it could be a real name because I've seen that name before. But Amethyst, I was like, that's definitely not a real name. Like, there's no way that's your real name. But what was the reasoning for not wanting people to know your real name? Was it just to have some anonymity or to protect you? Like, what's the reason around it?
A little bit on the protection side, and also, like, no one's ever called me by my government name.
Okay. Yeah.
I've always been known as Xixi, because when I did have, like, my actual name on the roll call in school, no one would be able to pronounce it. I mean, you could also argue that Xixi, Xixi, who is going to know how to pronounce that?
Yeah.
But I kind of kept that for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, it's like C, not like, you know, because X, who can pronounce?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. No, okay, that's cool. Okay, well, then that told me a little bit, actually, because the first question I told you I was going to ask you is, where did this all start? But actually, it starts before when I know, because you're saying you did some YouTube stuff back at school.
Okay, I don't know if that counts.
I think it does, but it kind of talks to the idea that making videos isn't something new to TikTok for you. And is that something that you did a lot of at school, or like you played around with, or something like that?
During intermediate, it was just more for fun with friends.
Yeah.
And I feel like I didn't really get into like video stuff. Probably uni.
Okay.
So that's like around lockdown period where I probably
So that's
got
where it
into
really
it.
started.
Yeah.
So tell me about that journey. Like, why and how did it start?
Okay, so before the TikTok page and all the socials I have right now, I actually used to be known as Amethyst Lynn. That's my username before, as an artist.
Okay.
Because if you go to the very beginning, I started posting on social media as an artist.
Yeah.
So like think acrylic painting, oil painting, water painting. Like I've done all your traditional art.
Yeah.
You probably think of. I've trialed it and I've posted online. Because like growing up, I loved art. Like art is all I did.
Okay, cool.
I lived and breathed art basically. And I was like thinking, should I be a visual artist when I grow up? But then you think about like money and then my Asian parents, they're like, Like artists, like what are you gonna do, especially in New Zealand?
Yeah.
But then I did follow a artist called Happy D Artist. She was posting all her oil paintings online on YouTube.
Okay.
So that kind of
Yeah.
inspired me that she's like getting out there posting on all her work. And I remember specifically this one advice she said, that if you want to do what you want and get out there, for her as an artist, if you want to be an artist, you need to post your work out there.
Yeah.
Like you need to get yourself out there, basically. And they're like,
Absolutely.
start posting your stuff now.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So I was 15 years old. I made my Instagram and I started posting all those random, like weirdly filtered, bad photography type
Yeah,
of
funny.
pictures of the art. So I was just like posting just like all throughout high school. So I was known as like the artist, but that kind of didn't go anywhere. I only had like few hundred followers on Instagram.
Yep.
And then came year 13 to university. I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to go to university to do an art degree, because I was like, I feel like there wasn't a point to it, because I was already self-exploring.
Exactly.
I was already like doing pretty well. Like, not to brag, I was like really good at art in high school, that I got Artist of the Year, like all
Amazing.
the art things you could think about.
Yeah.
Entered all the art exhibitions. So basically, I was a very art girl before any of the social media stuff.
Okay, got it.
And then during lockdown was when TikTok started getting popular.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me like post video form of my TikTok.
Yeah.
Because there was another creator I followed said, oh my God, there's this app called TikTok. Like that time, lockdown didn't actually happen yet.
Yeah.
So they're like, post on TikTok. And I was like, okay. So I spent like half the year scrolling TikTok, getting the gist of it. And I was like, you know what? I'll start posting my art on TikTok. So this is 2020.
Yeah.
So 2020, August, September, started posting my art. Up until beginning of 2021, I gained like 30K-ish within that short few months.
Yeah, cool.
And got an
Amazing.
audience from it. And I was like, whoa, like, what is this? And then it translated onto my Instagram. So it felt like, oh my God, people are actually seeing my art. And they actually like my art. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just chucking everything at the wall to see what works. And then kind of found my audience like from the very beginning at that stage.
Yeah.
And then I created an art business as well.
Okay.
Selling my art during that time. Just going about, because I wasn't doing uni. I took a gap year.
Okay.
Because I didn't know.
Got it. Straight out of high school.
Yeah.
You did gap year? Yeah.
And then afterwards was when I decided, okay, if I'm going to go to uni, I'll do something I want, because I didn't want to go to uni and study something that my parents wanted. That was either architecture or like, because I feel like if you're doing art or design, Asian parents, they'll be like architecture.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have no interest in architecture at all.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
What year was this?
This
Are we
was
now?
2021 would be my
2021.
first year of uni.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So during 2020, 2021, I was like having this big ass argument.
Yeah.
They were like, go to UOA. And then I was like, they don't have a fashion degree. And then they're like, okay, how about you do business and design?
Yeah.
And then I was like, that would have to be at AUT.
Yeah.
Because they have a fashion degree and a business conjoint thing.
Yeah.
But then they didn't like AUT, and I'm like, stuff you, I'm still gonna apply and go. And then so I started the degree as business and fashion.
Yeah.
And then after a semester, I dropped business.
Oh. I bet that was super happy.
I actually forgot. I mean, there was a lot of on and off argument being like, I'm gonna do what I want, and they're like, no, we want you to do this.
Yeah.
And I think my relatives were like, just let your child. Like, because apparently one of our like relatives, they did the whole architecture degree up until getting the license and certificate. They gave it to their parents. They went and started a bakery.
Oh, that's
So
so
that's
funny.
like their entire 20s.
That's
Like,
so funny.
go on. And so I think my parents got freaked out by that.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, maybe you can do
Do
your
whatever you
fashion.
want. Do your fashion. I love it. So then you just went full-time fashion school.
From 2021 to
Yeah.
2023.
Love it.
Yeah. And
That's so funny.
that is when the fashion TikTok
Yeah.
and social media
Started taking over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because during that time, lockdown was still happening.
Yep.
Like
100%.
up
It
to
was a bigger one in
2022.
21, right? It was
Yeah.
even longer, the back end. Yep.
And then I feel like 2023 was like the only full year of uni I properly had.
Got it.
So beforehand, it's like
Yeah.
they're kind of at home half the time. So I kind of started posting all the outfits I would wear to go nowhere. like just at home. And so people were kind of like, what are you doing? You're just in lockdown. Because people were posting PJs and like lounging around. And here I am in full blown dresses and like cool jackets and everything and stuff. And then so it kind of took off from there.
Yeah.
And then when we started getting back into uni, we started to wear masks and everything. And it was still very on and off, like some lecturers online. Like it was really annoying.
Yeah.
So going to the library to study and write all my portfolio work, but I would be dressed in these like outrageous, I mean, okay, I wouldn't think it was outrageous, but that's what people like
Other people would
said at the time, because I would have like this white crop blazer, I had a red like cutout top, I had pearls and chains hanging all around me, and I'm just going to library working, and that was like the outfit that like made my account pop off.
Oh, really?
Because I was posting consecutive, get ready with me to go to the library in this outfit. So it was a whole bunch of people going like, what the hell are you wearing? And then the other half of people going, oh my God, that's so cool. Let me follow you.
That's the best type, eh? When you get people competing against it.
Just having many arguments in the comments. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, funny.
Yeah.
And so over that time, you're doing these more fashions, and then that one sort of pops. Like, how was the account growing? Was it growing steadily, or was it like big step change of growth?
I had a 2021 September, I think, when I properly started posting fashion stuff, and then over the summer holiday jumped 40k ish.
Cool.
And then until May was when I started doing my library get ready with me videos, and then it jumped to like 200k.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
So there was like a big jump, and then now it's like slow.
Interesting. So it was like that library piece was like a differentiator for people.
Yeah, I guess so.
This wasn't just a normal
because they're like, you're just going to study. You're just going.
That's quite interesting because it's like we talk about this a lot. Like we call it like the circle of like relatable and absurd, and you either be really relatable or really absurd. But most people sit somewhere in the middle, and it's neither or both. But if you can make those things overlap, where going to the library is really relatable, and getting ready is really relatable, but doing the two together is a little bit absurd because it's like you don't need to do that to go to the library. Like that's the perfect combination, and then it takes off. So that's actually like quite smart. Like when you're doing that, like was it a happy accident, or did you like deliberately plan to make that? Did you think and study it as you did it, or did you just kind of, let's try this thing?
I think I've always experimented with dressing up and like things I had in the wardrobe or stealing my mom's wardrobe. So I was also kind of known as the girl that would dress up on Mufti Day as well. Yeah. I remember people going like, oh my God, what is Xixi going to wear on this Mufti Day? Like I literally wore a pink neon sweater at one point. Who does that going to school? But then I literally did not give a fuck about what people were thinking. Cool. So I was like still doing it. And then during the time that I started my fashion TikTok to post the outfits, I was going through a breakup.
Okay.
So I was super sad.
Yeah.
And I needed motivation to get out of bed.
Okay.
So my motivation to get out of bed was to dress up in these like, extra big outfits and then show up online everywhere, essentially like that. So basically a confidence booster.
Got it.
For me.
It. And so that sort of, and you said that started to slow like recently? Has the sort of growth started to slow, or has viewership and everything started to slow? Like, when you say it started to slow, what has slowed?
Because I graduated 2023, and then going into 2024 last year, I was kind of figuring things out in terms of my life and career. So I kind of put prioritizing posting on the back end. I still posted here and there. Yeah. I was like, should I try and get into a corporate job? Yeah. So I started working part-time at an office as their social media manager. Okay. And admin stuff. Yeah. But the business isn't going well, so they started cutting my hours. Okay. And funny thing, you actually caught me at an interesting period. Yeah. Yesterday at work, I just told them I'm quitting.
Oh, really? Yeah. The same job, the social media job?
Oh, yeah. I told them I was quitting.
And what are you going to do?
My own stuff.
Oh, cool.
I want to start working on my art and painting. Yeah. Like my first initial passion and interest, along with my fashion and possibly...
Can I just stop for a second? Sorry. So this is you going to uni because your parents told you to, and then you did the business conjoint with fashion, and then you dropped out of fashion, then you did a fashion degree, and then you're like, I'm going to go start a bakery. Which is because you're going back to the first. You're not even doing the thing with the fashion degree.
No, I'm still wanting to explore the fashion side as well. Like art and fashion.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
I
I think it's awesome. but it's quite funny how like that's what I kind of was my question. Is like, where does the fashion come into play now? So you're going to do some art and stuff. Like, how does that world look like? I'll let you carry on. You keep telling me a story, but I just thought it was quite funny.
No, because I was like, if I'm going to go to uni, I don't want to go for art.
Yeah.
I want to go there to learn something.
Got it.
And fashion was the one thing I didn't know much about. Like, I had an interest in it.
Yeah.
So I had an interest in fashion design too.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but I don't know anything about clothing construction, all the technical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that is why I chose a fashion degree in university to learn something. So now I have the confidence to design, explore, and make the actual thing.
Yeah. That's cool.
And for my graduate collection, I actually combined both elements of art and fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So all the paintings I did, I got it printed onto fabric.
Oh, cool.
And then use that fabric for the clothing I designed.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, so that is the plan.
So that's the plan. So little crossover there. So tell me, what gave you the confidence to quit? Are you already making enough cash to be able to sustain your life already?
For the past year, I got signed with an agency.
Yeah.
So they're managing me,
Yeah.
doing all the collaborations for social media.
Yeah.
So that at the moment has got me enough funds to keep me afloat and going. Like
cool. It's enough.
Yeah.
There's enough there.
There's enough fun. I'm living at my parents' house still. I'm still waiting till I can move.
Yeah, absolutely. So why wouldn't you? So you're saying is that you had the confidence to quit, to go and all in this because your safety blanket is that, well, I've still got money coming in from these collaborations and brand deals that I'm getting from the agency because you've got a brand. And I suppose that like your brand's probably quite marketable because there's a lot of fashion content and fashion brands love using influencers. Is that most of your collaborations? Is it that in beauty, or like what sort of is your normal brand deal look like? What sort of brands do you kind of like to work with you?
Funny thing is, fashion doesn't pay that much.
Nah, they don't pay a lot.
They don't really pay. So it's more so, okay, the campaign that I'm currently doing and what pays the most is actually a sports one.
Oh, okay,
and
interesting.
I'm not a sporty girl. I actually suck at sports. Like, I'm like the opposite.
Yeah.
But then the whole campaign is to promote girls to be active.
Got it.
So they specifically wanted someone who sucked at sports.
Got it.
So.
Got it.
Yeah, and then followed by makeup and lifestyle and other bits and bobs here and there. Cool. Fashion, I actually don't think.
Nah, they do a lot of that is right. There's like fashion's an interesting one because there's so many fashion brands. They often will pay quite little, but they do lots of it.
Yeah.
And there's only occasional you get a few brands who will do good money. Those ones, you can tell when those brands are doing, the ones who pay a lot because they're doing really well, and they get the biggest guys on their team because they know what it's worth and they know the return, but you're right. So anyway, that's interesting. So you're doing some brand deals, but actually because you want to build your own, essentially, business, right? And tell me a little bit about that. Like, so you've got create the art, create the patterns for the fabric, then turn the fabric into fashion. Is that the whole goal, or is there other elements to it as well?
I also want to do like art shows.
Oh, okay, cool.
I used to enter a lot of exhibitions, like every year through my schooling years.
Yeah.
If there's a local gallery going on, I would have an artwork submitted in there. And I kind of really like that environment and showcase. Yeah. So it'll be nice if I could have like a gallery show of my own.
Oh, you should. We should chat. So we're working with some, a particularly New Zealand artist at the moment, actually, who Roman Mitch. Shout out to Roman. He's curating this space upstairs as a gallery, and we'll do like monthly shows.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and so like the whole like brand of it is attention, and it's the crossover between social media and art and how they play out. And so for instance, like one of the concepts we had was so I don't know if you've seen one of our series on our Attention Seeker where Joni was tipping buckets of water on her head, and we tipped all sorts of food on her head.
Oh, I think I saw
you might have seen some of that. It went pretty bananas last year. It went off. Well, the ground, like, because there was oil and tomato sauce and all sorts of stuff that was tipped over people's heads.
Oil.
there was a mess on the ground. Like it
Yeah.
was stained. I've cleaned it since, but it was yuck, like on the driveway. And we're saying like if we had have taken a really cool photo bird's eye view of that stain pattern that
Yeah.
happened because of all the oil and the water and all the stuff, that is a print.
Oh my god, I knew you were gonna say.
Yeah, but that sort of idea, we can't
Yeah.
do that. But that's the goal. The goal is like there's something along that. But there's a whole bunch of other stuff that comes into it. It's like where does social media is a performance art, essentially. How do you turn that into more fine art?
What do you mean? Wait.
Well, how do you take a performance art that is on social media, like TikTok, which is
Yeah.
a video, and how do you turn that into like a painting or a still or a photo or something? Like how do you get those two worlds to collide?
Like when I started posting.
No.
Oh wait, what?
No. So let's say you'll get ready with me for the library.
Yeah.
How do you turn that concept? How do you take that video that you make and turn that into a painting or a still, but in a way that's like representative, but not necessarily just like take a photo of take a screenshot?
My mind immediately thinks of like an abstract version.
Exactly.
Of
Yes, that's exactly it. And every artist will have their own interpretation, and that's kind of the idea behind the concept of
Yeah.
the gallery, to do it because like one, we can't afford art at the price of what art costs to fill this place. It costs like if you go to artists, it might cost $1 million to fill this place of art, because some like good artists might charge you stupid amounts. So how do we do it in a different way where we can like work with artists, have this concept, and we bring lots of people through? Anyway, that sort of stuff is like it's cool to do. So anyway, we'll have a chat. Maybe you want to.
Oh my god, that'd be so
Maybe
cool.
we'll work with her and do
Maybe
a gallery
yeah.
night as
That'd be
Xixi
cool.
Amethyst. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Anyway, so you want to do gallery shows? That's cool. I love that sort of stuff. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Why don't you do it then? Like, what's stopping you? Just time?
I haven't been working on
Yeah.
it for the past few years
Okay.
while I was studying.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so now I want to get back to it and start creating
Cool.
like actual large scale things.
Yeah.
Before it was all for school
Yeah.
or like criteria for exhibition competition.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So now you want to curate a whole thing and do it.
Like actually try and do my own thing.
Yeah. Nice. So
Yeah.
it sounds like me that like the goal is to live almost like a proper artist life.
No, and include the fashion stuff.
Of course.
And
But
like
fashion's just
create
another form of
all
art,
the
true.
video
Yeah.
and post it all onto
Yeah.
social media.
And then ideally that brand sells the fashion stuff. Yeah, so you have like a fashion store that's just all your clothes. Is that kind of how you see it? Or are you selling the fashion to fashion houses?
At the moment, I'm thinking of just creating unique designs,
Yeah.
showing the whole entire process, posting it online to gain attention.
Yeah.
And then further down the line, I'll see how I can scale or
Cool.
work. It could just
Got
be
it.
one-off clients I have
Yeah.
or for special occasions
Yeah.
and events. Like, I'm not thinking too much in like
Money.
large scale production
Yeah.
brand. Like, I don't want to be in
No.
all retail stores, not that type of vibe.
No. I
Yeah.
can't imagine.
No,
Can't
I
believe
want
it.
to keep it like an art form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really it's just about like, let us build brand for a few years doing the thing that you love. And then that will lead to opportunities in the future once you've built that brand. Is that kind of how you think
Yeah.
about it? Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
What gives you, that's like there's quite a confidence there to be able to do that. Like, is that just because you're pretty confident in your ability to produce the art and the fashion? Is that where it comes from, or you just don't really think about it? I'm just saying that.
I think I'm pretty confident
Yeah.
in myself as a person
Yeah.
and what I do. Because I
Yeah.
think with whatever I want to try and go for in life, I kind of try my best
Yeah.
until I can't,
Yeah.
you know. So I think anything I put my mind to it, I could get
Yeah.
the outcome I want
Yeah.
most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where does that confidence come from? Because it's not like, I've met lots of artists, lots of creators, and confidence in their abilities isn't as prominent as what I'm hearing from you, actually. They're actually all quite, I shouldn't say insecure, it's the wrong word, but there's a layer of insecurity. And often they're doing this thing as a way of like, because they're so good at it, but there's a layer of insecurity. So like, where does your confidence in your abilities come from as an artist? Because it's not normal.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't always like this.
Okay, where did that come from?
And
How
there
did it
is an
develop?
underlying,
Because it's cool. It's quite admirable, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like not a lot of people have it. Yeah.
So art, I would say I've been doing it like ever since I can pick up a pen, probably, you know.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I'm confident in my art skills that I can develop it, because I've tried so many different art mediums, and every time I would master one and I'll be like, okay, I'm bored, let me try the next one. And then I would master that one and then move on. And then I think because I did art for such a long time and then going into uni, I'm like, okay, let me try and master fashion.
Yeah.
And after fashion, I'm like, oh my God, social media, let me try and master social media.
It.
Maybe it's just my mind that just likes
Solving
psychoanalyzing and like doing all those things.
Yeah.
You know?
Just solving problems.
Yeah. In a sense.
Yeah.
But then maybe that is also something that counteracts what my parents and family expects out of me. Because, okay, this just reminded me of something. Last year, you guys did reach out to me for this. I don't know if you remember.
Well, I was probably one of the team maybe reaching out. Yeah.
But then you went to New York.
Yes, that's right. I remember now. Yes, I do. Because then we were left. Yeah.
I was thinking about declining.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't think I'm good enough.
Really?
I didn't.
Interesting.
I kind of had like a meltdown almost.
Yeah.
I was literally crying at the mall with my friend. I was like, I'm going to go away from the mic for a second. I was like this, so all the tears would stream down so it wouldn't ruin my makeup because I still wanted to look good. Because like each week when I go out, I do get recognized, so I didn't want people to see me crying out in public. And my friend was like, what are you doing? Why are you declining going on this podcast? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think, what do I have to offer?
Was that then back last year when we did it?
That was last year.
Oh my gosh.
But I didn't know I could react like that.
Yeah.
Because I think I still had a sense of confidence.
Yeah, that's so opposite to what I've just said about you.
Like, I think that was like a slither of a moment that I didn't know I still had that in me.
So
like,
is it some form of a mask that you have? If like some rebellious mark against your parents, is the toughness on the outside?
Kind of.
I love that. That's so like actually makes you so much more normal than before.
Because, sorry, I just...
Keep going.
Mine is running all over the place.
This should be Stan's therapy. Yeah. Go on.
I was thinking that, I was like, if I'm going to talk about my creative stuff, it's going to go down a rabbit hole. But then I was like, you know what? If it goes down that sappy route, I'll just let it
go. Yeah.
But because I'm doing such creative stuff in my life, it's not what your typical like Asian strict parents would want, right?
Yeah.
So for most of my life, I didn't really get the support from them. Like they'll just be like, "Oh, it's so cute," you know. And then when it gets to uni, they're like, "Oh shit, like, she's actually taking us seriously," like, you know. So whenever I came home with awards or anything, like they wouldn't. Like my mom would kind of congratulate, but the first thing my dad would say would be, "It's probably because there was no one else."
Oh. Okay.
And then
so there's a chip on your shoulder.
he'd be like, "Oh, there was probably no one good. Probably no one entered." And I'm like, "Do you know how much effort it took me to get here?" So that's like my entire childhood.
Got it.
Up until now. Okay. And then
it's
I feel like...
sense. It's all making sense.
Yeah. And I feel like when you have something like that, you can go either one of two ways.
Yeah.
Go down the insecure route that you actually, you know, can't. And I think a part of me was like, let me try and prove you wrong and get that approval. But then I never got it. Yeah. Up until now.
You know, what's really interesting about this conversation is actually the episode that came out on Monday with Alex King.
Yeah.
We had that exact conversation we had. Her and I have had, and which is quite similar to you, parents who are quite tough on us. And so my parents were like that. Like my dad I'd play a game of rugby and I would score 4 tries, captain, player of the day, do all the things, right? Come off the field, and all the way home, Dad had been like, "You didn't do this. You should have done that. This wasn't good enough. You missed this." Yeah. and immigrant parents, right?
Yeah.
It's like my dad. And so Alex was the same, but in Alex's world, what was really interesting is that she took it the other way, where she's now has this expectation to deliver, and so she has like perfectionism built in now, where she has to be perfect, won't try as much as he wants. An amazing singer, an amazing artist and musician, released one song, and the song blew up. You know, it's done like 700,000 plays on Spotify as a solo release song. That's pretty big for New Zealand artists releasing their first single on their own. Never released another one.
What?
Because of that insecurity that she had because of the upbringing. And it was a real interesting conversation, because you hit the nail on the head. The same experience can make you go two different ways.
Yes.
And some people take it the way we've taken it, which is fuck the world. And other people take it the way Alex King could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's quite interesting that you've actually taken this fuck the world approach, which is fuck you, I can do what I want.
Because my friends have asked me, they're like, Xixi, why do you not care? Because I think within my like social group or year group, no one is really doing what I'm doing. And every time the first thing they ask me is, aren't you scared that people that know you in real life, like our friends or people in our old school and everything, would see it? And I was like, that's really the last thing. Yeah. I'm like, I'm not even thinking that. I'm like, I do not care. Like, I don't know.
Nah.
Yeah, you can't care about that.
You can't care about it. I'm with you on that. You can't care about it. Like, people are always going to have an opinion whether you like it or not, and so be it. I don't make content or do what I do in life to win back friends that I had once before. You know, like, I do it to find new friends and new people and new acquaintances and stuff like that, and people who want to do cool stuff with me. Yeah. So fuck them.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm welcoming all the new people through the social media. Yeah.
And one of the things is, even with like, you know, you talk about like tough Asian parents. It's no different to having like an immigrant father. Like, my father's born in the islands, so like moving here, he's from Cook Islands, and like he was a tough old man who was pretty strict and stuff. And when you have that sort of upbringing, like, and it takes you down this path, you kind of just because I don't give a shit or anything and whatever, and I just do what I want to do. You sort of reach a point in your life anyway, because you've done it so long. Like, I'm obviously probably about 15 years older than you, so I've had a little bit of time. But as you start to get that success, and then your parents and your family start to turn around and go, oh, this is my son, I'm so proud of him, like, he's done all this, look how good he's doing. And that's what ends up happening, because like you get to a point where like, oh, okay, they were right, now I'm going to claim all the success.
I feel like I'm like at that in-between period where they're like, oh, she's kind of doing something, but also, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, but what is it? I don't understand it. Yeah. When I started this business, so I dropped out of uni, and then people weren't stoked. Family wasn't stoked that I dropped out of uni, because I was the first one in my family to go to uni, and then I dropped out, and then I went to Australia, and then I worked in hospitality, and everyone's like, oh my God, he's like a waiter, like, what's he doing with his life? And even as I went through my career, they're like, what the hell? And then I became a general manager of hotels, and they're like, oh, okay, cool, Stan's doing well.
That's how I feel about my job, that they don't know that I quit.
Oh, okay.
I haven't announced it to them.
Okay. Well, this comes out in a few weeks, so hopefully you announced it by then. Exclusive. Drop it right now, Connor. Drop it right now. No. But eventually, like, so I got this good job, and everyone's like, in my family, like, oh yeah, like, he's doing good now. Like, Stan's like a general manager of hotels. And then I quit it, and I started this business, and they're like, what are you doing? Like, you're crazy. Like, they don't, like, what do you mean you sell LinkedIn marketing? Because that's what we did at the beginning.
Wait, how long has?
5 years.
Okay.
So in lockdown as well, essentially. So I moved back in late 2019 to New Zealand. I was in Australia at the time. I moved back to New Zealand, started networking. My family are like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you had such a good job. You know, you've got no income. You know, you're living in my house, my brother's house. And then, like, we kept on doing these things. And I'm like, this is crazy. And it wasn't until, like, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years in, maybe not even that, maybe a year and a half ago, that my family were like, oh, so you're, like, doing really well. Like, this is kind of...
I hope I get there.
But I guess that's my advice, is just like, if you stick at it long enough, you're so talented at what you do, you'll get there anyway. You just take your own path, and then they'll claim the success.
I don't know. I'm just trying to block out whatever they say at the moment.
It doesn't matter. You don't do it for them anyway. You do it. You just do it because you want to do it. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, like, how do you said the brand started to slow because you weren't paying attention to it as much last year and trying to find stuff. So how do you pick that back up? Like, now that you've quit, like, what's the plan? What's the next, like, once you've quit, what's the next 30 days, 90 days look like?
I'm gonna start planning
Yeah.
my next launch, my next video series.
Cool. Yeah.
For like across my social media platforms. So that's in the works.
Okay, cool.
Because end of next month, I'm gonna go down to Wellington for the Vivienne Westwood exhibition.
Cool.
So I'm gonna plan content around that.
Yeah, cool.
Hopefully make something for that as well.
Yeah.
And then there's also another event in April. So I'm kind of like in the works of planning right now, which is why everything has slowed down.
Yeah.
And I think also because working my job as a social media manager for someone else,
Yeah.
and also trying to work out how to get money.
Yeah.
I'm just figuring out the funds
Yeah.
first for a year, and then now I'm like, okay, I do have some savings, a safety net.
Cool.
Now let me flip back,
Do your
go
own
to the
thing.
creative side.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
What's now that you've done that? So like you talk about you got this show and all these other things, but like, and you talk about a new series. How does that process happen? Like, how do you think about creating a new series? Like, how do you strategize that out? Like a new content series. Is that what you said you meant before when you make a content? Do you just come off that? You're looking at me like, obviously I just do it.
I kind of just do it.
Because you know, like everyone watching here is like, no, tell us, because we don't know how.
Like, you mean like getting the idea, planning?
Yeah, like how does that process happen for you? Do you just like sit down and go, oh, I'm going to do this ABC?
I think my brain is like always churning, always thinking. Like even before sleep, I'm like, oh my God, I have a new idea.
Yeah.
Let me like jot it down before.
Got it. So you keep notes of all those ideas?
Yeah, I try to.
Yeah.
And then sometimes when I do come up with it and I'm like, okay, let me execute a little bit of it so that I have something to base it off of if I don't get it down straight away. Or sometimes it just stays in my mind until I get to the point where I'm like, okay, time to plan it and shoot it.
Yeah.
You know.
Tell me about like a video, like when you talk about planning videos, because like say I watch When You Get Ready With Me videos, like
those are just
done, right? So like and that's what I thought. So like when you're thinking about planning a video, what does that mean for someone like yourself?
So for the art videos that I want to do, obviously art takes time.
Okay, got it.
It's not something that you can just do like a Get Ready With Me video. So I've actually already started taking shots of the inspiration that I'm getting. So I have the inspiration for my artwork already.
Yeah.
And I'm going to incorporate kind of like a montage, because there's this Chinese artist where they're like up to 1 minute, 2 minute videos, short form. It's the entire process of her creating the artwork, but there's music, there's drama.
Cool.
It's not just painting.
Yeah.
Like it could be some dramatic scene, like chucking flowers, and then transitions into the thing she paints. So it's like a very...
We're all story-based.
Yeah, very story-based. Because with my art, it's always been very story-based. Like, there's a reason why I'm creating it. It's not just aesthetic-wise. Like, there's a strong emotion, there's a strong purpose. Like, I've always done that kind of naturally, and how I kind of process things that happen in life. Because whenever I'm going through something, I kind of draw it down. So it's like telling a story, hopefully inspire, motivate. That's the gist of the art.
Got it.
Yeah. And then whereas for the fashion, it will be the process of how I get to the final garment of the design. And even for my fashion, actually, I'm incorporating some of the meaning and story that I get from my art into it. So it's very much storytelling that I'm hoping to get into and showing the art.
Nice. And you're thinking about doing that like YouTube or short form video, or a bit of both?
Bit of both.
Yeah,
short form would be like the polished version, maybe include some fun short snippets.
Yeah.
And then YouTube, I'm hoping to vlog the entire
process.
Behind the scenes, the raw. Because that's what I did for my uni.
Yeah.
So I vlogged my entire uni, like most of my assignments, the ups and downs of like all the travel era. And like that kind of gained me an audience on YouTube. Yeah. I mean, it's still like around 8K-ish, I think. So that's like my smallest platform.
Yeah.
But there's like a nice little
dedicated audience.
Yeah. Over there.
Yeah.
And hopefully that can grow from there and then everything else.
Nah, perfect. So that's YouTube is a lot harder too. There's a lot more to production and stuff, right? So where did that come from? Like where did how did you get into video production? Or did you learn to self-teach?
I still use CapCut.
For even your YouTube?
Yep. It works.
Fuck if it works.
I do as well.
For YouTube.
Oh, really?
Are you doing YouTube at the moment?
I'm trying to start.
Yeah, fair enough. It works. I mean, yeah, CapCut's fantastic. I use it every day.
Yeah.
It's very easy. I am keen to see what this edits one comes out with and if it's any better for Instagram edits.
Oh.
I am keen to see if that's any better or not. Just given like how much pro features. I mean, we've got pro anyway for CapCut.
Oh yeah, I got pro too.
Yeah.
I was like,
you can't do anything on it now without it.
oh, it was free when I started using it.
Same.
I was like, what?
The pro thing was they conned us all. They knew exactly what they were doing. Gosh, so smart. They're so smart. They made so much money off of it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you're quite self-taught. So I like that. So when you're talking about your series, you're actually talking about an entire content like strategy, actually. But this is just saying in your head, you just had the idea and you just had to go execute it.
Yeah, it's in my head right now. And now I just need to plan the artworks and the shots.
Yeah.
And then schedule in my calendar.
Yeah. And when you're filming and taking those shots, is a lot of that just out of your head? Or have you got like, actually, I've got a storyboard, or I've got a script, or I've got like
no storyboard. Script,
maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm wanting to tell. That's what I kind of started doing over the past year, is scripting.
Cool.
To get the story and things that I want out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's important. So like to get the story, you're still gonna essentially you're trying to craft a story and then build all the visual elements to tell the story. Is that kind of how you think about it?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. That makes heaps of sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of the same for a lot of like the stuff that we might do when it comes to it. It's like what's the story first, and then you find the visual elements to tell that story afterwards, right? Because it's easier that way. Because otherwise, like you go out filming, you take lots of content, and you're like, what am I going to do with all of this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's an efficiency thing, eh?
Something in mind before you go shoot the thing.
Tell me a little bit about, before we start to wrap this up, I just actually want to ask, what's your network or friend circle around you for that creator artistry space? Like, do you have other people in your world who do this as well? Or because you said about you're a bit of the outlier in your friend group, like.
Yeah, I'm the one extrovert. Everyone else is an introvert. I don't know how this happened.
Yeah.
There's probably like a couple other extroverts, but somehow I'm just friends with all the introverts. And I'm kind of like telling them like, can you guys, like whenever there's events and stuff, I'm messaging a whole bunch of different introverts to be like, who can come out? Who can come out and take my videos? Who wants, like, you get a free thing? Come on. And I think I do have like 2 or 3 friends who were actually interested. And I'm like, oh my God, you're interested in social media too? Please, so that I could have someone to talk about this stuff. Like, because you kind of need someone else. I mean, there is someone else who's like much older than me that I connected with recently and we kind of share, but it's like not like someone my age or my
peer group.
Yeah, my peer group.
Yeah.
So funny enough is one of my friends from Australia, he flew over for the summer. Like he comes every summer for a little get together. Yeah. And then he was like, Xixi, I think I want to actually start posting on social media. And I was like, you have me. You use me, exploit me, please, because I have all the knowledge and everything, and I can actually help you. Like, you have someone in your close circle. Because he wants to get into music and posting about music.
Got it.
And I didn't know I had this in me, but we literally had a full-on consultation meeting where we planned and talked about the type of content he would do, what he wants, how that's going to happen and everything to try and get him started. But he's going to start his master's degree instead.
That's a shame.
And then he said, I might start posting soon. And I'm like...
Oh, so it's
and I was like, what was the point of me giving you that hours and hours of talk? I actually gave him valuable information that brands would be paying for, or like how to kickstart, a campaign or a page. And I'm like, bro.
Send him an invoice. Hey?
The same as internal.
Yeah. We have guys in our team who always say the same sort of stuff. Like, because probably about 1/3 of our team are really good at making content actually and doing quite a lot of stuff, and the other 2/3 all want to. Yeah. Just like your friend. Oh, this time I'm going to do this, or oh, actually I'm going to start a YouTube channel, or I'm going to do more of this, and then you go back 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later. Oh, how are you going? Oh yeah, now I'm going to start. Whereas
I
like
can't.
Connor and Joni and Busky and Busky's actually a bit temperamental sometimes actually, but there's a few of the guys who are like really diligent at it, like
Yeah.
really good. Like probably Connor and Joni are probably the top two actually, like very good at just like consistently putting stuff out. Myself, as well. But like the rest of them are like, oh yeah, no, I want to do this and I want to do that. But I think it's just one of those things that not everyone's built for it. Everyone's built for being consistently on social media. It's quite hard.
And not everyone's, not the value doesn't come to each person at the same time either. It comes
Yeah.
through at different times.
Exactly.
That's the real catalyst.
Yeah, they need something bigger than themselves to do it for, some value for them.
Yeah,
it's
I
quite
can
hard.
only provide and give them so much. Because even my few other like close girlfriends, there would be like, oh my God, we're interested. So I started dragging them to all these events, and I'm like, I need to film for this. Why don't you film too? You'll literally give them free, videos. They filmed and they didn't do anything with the footage. And I'm like, I'm not going to take you out anymore because that's like a wasted opportunity
100%.
in a way.
Yeah.
I'm like, just chilling.
100%.
Hopefully I can connect with someone else. I don't know.
Well, that was why I asked the question as sort of like a wrap up to this conversation is like, it's really hard to create alone long term. It's unsustainable sometimes, and actually artists go crazy. They do.
That was one of my concerns actually.
Yeah, they turn into
I was
Kanye.
like, I need to socialize.
Yeah, you need to. But it makes you stronger. Like if you think about, say, Mr. Beast, let's just go to the extreme example. A lot of people look at Mr. Beast and think he's fantastic, but he often talks about, actually, I built this knowledge that I have off of a small friend group of 4 or 5 guys who used to share all the knowledge with each other daily and weekly. And if you think about our team, we've got this team, there's like 35 of us in the team now, whatever it is, and we all share the knowledge all the time. And so like Connor and Joni will often talk to each other about, hey, I'm doing this, like what do you think I should do? Oh, I'm doing this is what I'm seeing. And we're sharing all the knowledge between us, which means that we're accelerating our growth way faster than someone on their own because they're only getting 1 lot of education, where we're getting 10 lots of education from everyone. And so my advice is like for you as you step into this world of like being your own boss, is like there's actually lots of people who want to find other people, but they just don't. They're too scared. They're too nervous. They don't think other people want them. They don't think other people want to talk to them. But I guarantee, like, if you reached out to every other creator you thought was cool and you said, hey, do you want to grab coffee? They would say yes. 100%.
I would do that.
Yeah. You should. You should. No, especially as you're going out on your own because, like, you're going to be working from home probably, I guess.
Probably.
And then, like, it actually, like, your motivation slips because then it's so easy to just be like, I'm not going to do it today. And if you got brand deals coming in and things are happening, you're like, I don't need it. Your motivation starts to slip. But then when you put yourself in a room with people every day and you're like, hey, what should we do? Should we try something new? That's why, like, as bad as they are, the creative houses worked for a little bit that they worked in. They might not have worked long-term relationship-wise, but they worked in the short term because everyone was like vibing off each other and figuring out new things to do. And they learn so fast. So if I was going to give you some advice, I'd be like, how do you find those people? Just reach out to the creators. There's heaps of cool creators in New Zealand. There's actually heaps of them. And like this is the thing I love about this podcast. Like Connor was saying, like you're number 70 now. And I would say 60 of those 70, I didn't know before I met them. Like I'd never seen their stuff because you don't get served it.
Yes. I try to look for it sometimes. And I'm like, I want to find someone who's also interested in this stuff. Because I don't know. I don't think I would connect with someone that's like doing sports entirely or like something that's like different, like some sort of...
Some similarity.
Yeah.
Yeah, some similarity. Like one of the girls that starts with us next week, Sarah, she does like visual effects makeup and she's done it for like Lord of the Rings and other stuff and all sorts of things. And she's awesome. And I'd only seen one of her videos where she got her studio was broken into and everyone stole all her stuff. You might have seen it went viral last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she like they just came and stole all these props that she'd got off movies and all this stuff that she had. Yeah, it was real bad. But then like when we went through the hiring process with her, she's coming to work for us. Looking at her videos, like they're awesome, but I would never get served them. You know, even like yours, I was saying to you, like, of course I'm not going to get served Get Ready With Me videos of girls getting ready. Like, it's just not something I'm going to watch naturally. But actually, like, it is good to watch and find these other sorts of content and the people out there. So anyway, my point of the story is there's lots of cool people out there doing cool stuff. You should just reach out.
Yeah.
They're stoked. Like, creators are all lonely. They all have group friends of introverts.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, it is getting towards an hour. That went pretty fast, actually.
Yeah,
Faster
it
than
does.
it went really quickly when I looked down. Hey, thank you so much for coming on. I think it's awesome. I think you should definitely don't have that crying moment again. I think you're doing some pretty cool shit. I'm real excited to see what this new series is. Please, I need to make sure, actually. Maybe email us when it happens, because I might not see it because your stuff doesn't pop up. But I'd love to see this art transition, because that sort of content's really interesting to see.